on the front of it. And for doing this type of work in our mining operations and around our shop, we're not going to be blocking up trucks from coming in and out of the shop area, coming up and down the haul road, because it will actually swing within the track space of that machine. So again, that's what the CR stands for, is compact radius. So again, as you start looking at the machines that we have here today, think about how these can support your mining operation today. Now I want to direct you up here to the left side. We're going to start talking about excavators now. The excavator up on the top is the 374. Again, both of those excavators, along with the 385, have the long undercarriage. That's a D model up on top, and we're actually going to do what we call same level load. Now that isn't probably the best way we would equip that machine if we were going to do this operation day in and day out. Both of those machines come with 3 different boom options. They come with the standard boom, the GP boom, and the reach boom. And anywhere from 6 to 8 different sticks available for the 2 of those machines with various bucket sizes. You can also get a quick coupler for that machine, which you'll see later this afternoon up in the yard. And that quick coupler would actually allow that operator to kick that bucket off from inside the cab and put on something like maybe the ripper shank that you see setting down behind the bleachers on the other end to give that machine more versatility. We're going to go ahead and load that 730 up. Now that's a conventional 730 rated at 31 ton, about 22-yard body on the back of that truck. Again, designed for extreme conditions, very, very soft underfoot conditions where these machines really perform great, where you wouldn't want to be putting a rigid frame truck like you see down on the bottom under that 385. Now keep in mind that that 385 also comes in a front shovel configuration, which now in the new lineup of machines today will be our smallest front shovel. We're going to talk about the Cat mining trucks here in a little bit, but typically the truck down on the bottom is what we would consider a quarry truck. The 730 up on top, again, that's a conventional bed that has a tailgate on the back to help us control spillage on some of these steep grades that we expect these trucks to run up and down. We're going to go ahead and load that up, and when he comes down here onto our right side, I want you to pay attention to how that dumps. And then I'm going to show you another style that we have here in just a little bit when we load out the brand new 740 that we have on site. We look at Cat excavators. We have over 65 different models of Cat excavators, from wheeled excavators to track excavators, mass excavators, demolition excavators, and material handlers, both on track and on rubber. And now with the addition of the new mass excavator shovel line that we have today, both in electric and diesel, we're adding 6 ME units with up to 44-yard capacity, and we'll be adding 7 units in the front shovel configuration up to about a 68-yard capacity. When we saw that 385 loading down on that bottom bench, that's the best way to load a truck if you're going to load with an ME. You notice that we got a nice rated load in that truck. We were able to swing right through the gate, very, very quick cycle times. Try and stay down in that anywhere from 22 to maybe 24-second cycle time. Very, very productive if you take the time to set yourself up right. We look at the 980 here, and again, this 980 is a very, very nice support tool. If we're working around our mining operation, maybe we need to put a little bit of road rock in and get it spread out. That's the brand new 740B, the second demo it's been in. But look up here to the right now, right into the sun. That's the way that you typically see a truck dump. So think about that truck in tight operations. Think of it if it was working in an underground operation, that if you had limited back height, that it's going to be very, very hard to do that. And think if that truck had to actually dump that material on that slope. Obviously you wouldn't be able to do that. This is one of the big advantages of the 740B that you see being loaded today. Now, the 730, which is now being replaced with our B-Series machine like you see down here, is all that operator has to do is steer the machine, use the throttle and the brake. That machine can actually sense when it needs to lock up the drivetrain for improved traction. You can see that the slope nose on the front of it helps with visibility, and the slope bottom of it actually helps in these poor underfoot conditions. And again, when you lock that truck up, that truck can go through some very, very extreme conditions. When we start with the 980 all the way up through our large wheel loaders, except for the 994, you can get them all in standard lift or high lift. Most of our customers opt to take the high lift option, and all of the machines all the way up through the 993, it will not impact the swung load that machine's rated to swing. That machine has what we call command steering in it, so that operator sitting in the seat with something that's very similar to a steering wheel, but his forward, reverse, and gear selector is actually in his left hand. I want you to pay attention to this 740, and that is the ejector body. So that's the other option that you have available to you today. That works just like a scraper ejector. So he's actually going to come up. Now, you wouldn't be able to do this with a typical dump body on a truck. He's going to actually go up that slope and spread that material across that slope. Now, if you were coming down this haul road and we needed to put down about 6 inches of real good road rock, he can put himself in about 5th gear, come down this road, spread that material out, and chances are he wouldn't even need to bring in a motor grader to help dress it up. If you had to dump that with a conventional truck, you'd have to bring in a tractor to knock it down and a motor grader to blade it off. So again, you start looking at how we're supporting our mining operations today, that's a great tool. And remember, to us in mining, the haul roads are one of the most important things and probably one of the areas that we lack the most attention on. So let's start looking at our wheel loader lineup now. We've got 2 wheel loaders out here. We have the 988. And we have the 990. Now, both of these are in the high lift configuration. At this point in our product line, both of these machines, all the way through our 994, have what we call stick steer. So both of these operators have the throttle lock set at full throttle. The only pedal that they're touching in there is the left pedal, and that left pedal is an impeller pedal. So the further that they compress that pedal, the more that it's going to take torque from the wheels and slow down your ground speed. We will not be impacting the amount of flow or the amount of horsepower that we're putting to our hoist. So again, stick steer in his left hand, very, very comfortable for that operator. And you get in there and you're running 10 or 12 hour day, we need that operator to be fresh all day long. Very, very little effort for that operator. 8-yard bucket on the 988. Again, the throttle lock, manual and auto shift. There's a lot of options available. Also a payload control system with both of these loaders. That 772 is a mechanical drive. Automatic retarder control starts out in this product, so as that truck's going down the grade, that automatic retarder control is actually going to hold his speed at what he sets it at. So as long as he puts the cane in the proper position, and the haul road is a nice constant grade, it's going to maintain that grade all the way down, or that speed all the way down. We got into the large mining truck business back in 1963, and today we've sold over 50,000 units. So we've been at this for a long time. We're going to go ahead and finish topping off this truck. But we have 10 different models today in the Caterpillar product lineup, one of those being an electric drive unit. And now with the addition of the unit rig trucks, we'll be adding 5 more models with payloads from 150 to 400 tons. Now we look over on the far side under that 775, that's rated at 70 ton, and we got about every bit of it on there. So as we work with these operators, we spend a lot of time focusing on training the proper application and what we call best practice. You can see we just got done loading out this 772 and that operator tidied up the floor. We had a little bit of spillage over there with the 990. We're going to clean up the floor. At the cost of tires today, we cannot afford to be damaging our tires. If you're not seeing 9, 10, 11,000 hours out of your tire at your customer site, there's room for improvement. By keeping the floor nice and clean and not allowing your tires to get cut, you're going to get that type of life. We're going to switch gears here a little bit. We're going to start talking a little bit about underground. Now, as far as Caterpillar is concerned, we don't have the big lineup that we've just now acquired. So with what we've acquired today with roof and pillar, underground drills, long wall mining, and belt systems, we have one of the largest product lineups in the underground mining industry today. So again, as we all start learning this together, it's going to be very, very interesting. And for our customers, this was definitely needed. So we look at these 2 machines. These operators, again, trained to pretty much set themselves up the same way when possible in an underground operation. If you look at the 2 of these machines, the AD45, 45-ton truck, and the R1700, both of these have the optional cab on them. So typically these machines could go underground with an open cab. Definitely makes it nicer for the operator running with that enclosed cab. Also, if you had low backs in your mine, and let's say that we were going to be having to dump into a crusher, but we had a low back, you can get an ejector body for that AD45 or any of our underground mining trucks, and it will work just like the ejector body did on that 740. We can also get an ejector bucket for the 1700. About our proving ground next door where they do the testing and development of our product. That's where these machines came from. So this 992K, it's got a 14-yard bucket on it. It is a high lift machine. Ideal match for this 100-ton 777. So again, you will 3-pass a 775. Depending on material density, you'll be a 4 to a 5-pass match with this 992. Now look at the cab on the 992, the 993, the 854, and the 994 when he comes in. Brand new cab design. All of these cabs have an operator training seat in it, and this is a requirement for most mines today that you have got to have a safe and secure place to put that trainer. You can see they got themselves set up in a real nice tight pattern. Now, if you were working in poor underfoot conditions or wet floor conditions, both of these operators could actually turn down the rim control, so they could reduce the amount of torque going to the tires to keep from slipping the tires, but still be very, very productive. So if we look at our trucks, 777F, you're going to see the 777G later this afternoon. Rated at 100 ton, also has a trainer seat, new style cab, really low window, excellent visibility out of this machine, and a lot of options available from the TPMS system, our weight measuring system, automatic retarder control, traction control system, rack, and rack is road analysis. With the addition of the new drills that we have, from the track drills to rock drills to the blast tool and rotary drills, we can now really work with our customer and make sure that we get our fragmentation right so that we get full loads in this bucket every time he goes to the truck. I don't want to be dragging this machine around with a 245-inch, 23.5-yard bucket if I can only fill it 70%. If I don't get my material blasted well enough, I'm going to want to go with a narrower bucket because I always want to come out with anywhere from 95 to 105% bucket payload. If I don't do that, I'm going to have to go back for one more pass. That one more pass is only going to cost me about 3% cost per ton. Today we have over 470 units out of the 994, and of those about 170 of them are Fs. So when we get into the 994, we have several different options available on the 994. You can get a standard lift, you can get a high lift, you can get an extended high lift, and you can get a super high lift. Now that super high lift is designed for loading coal bodies. So it has a great big bucket on it, anywhere from a 42 to a 47-yard coal bucket. The extended high lift that we have today is what we have designed to allow us to load 793s. This machine can swing 38-ton pass in a standard lift, 35-ton pass in a high lift configuration. And we're going to show the extended high lift in a minute while we top off this 200-ton 789D. Brand new 789D, and you heard me say 200 ton. Used to be 190 ton. They've increased the payload on that. You'll notice the diagonal ladder across the front of it. You're going to hear more today from Dave Faber about what we have to offer in our truck going up. And then we start looking at material like this. And now today, when we think about the lowest cost per ton and how we're going to load our trucks, we now pull in the new lineup that we have from